blue sky. Please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Hey there, Mr. Blue, there's a place to be with you. Look around, see what you do. Everybody smiles at you. Hey there, Mr. Blue, there's a place to be with you. Look around, see what you do. Everybody smiles at you. Mr. Blue Sky, Mr. Blue Sky, Mr. Blue Sky. Mr. Blue, you get it right, but soon comes Mr. Night, creeping over, now his hand is on your shoulder. Never mind, I remember you this way. Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Birmingham's the team, down at St Andrews. We are loyal supporters of our team. The chanters Super Blues, ringing all around. Now all you blue boys know what we mean. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you.
The absence of the spoil tonight means only one thing: we carry on as normal. He's full of snot and tucked up with his Horlicks as the rabbit machine just keeps marching on. Another fantastic win on Saturday as Blues score 4 at home and the Don nets his hat-trick and takes the match ball home as a prize. Still unbeaten and in the top 6 as Forest are next up at St Andrews under the floodlights tomorrow night. Docco takes on WM as his fight with Franksy warms up over giveaway tickets. More on that later. And the Football League tonight makes the 6-goal thriller at St Andrews last on its show and offers less than a minute of footage. Blues ladies, however, put on a good show with a welcome 1-0 win over a very good Chelsea side. So it's business as usual on with the show. Just another week in the life of a Blues fan.
What more can we say? We have a team that's tops here at St Andrews. They gotta give us what we're longing for. It's Birmingham forever. Let's hear it from the stand. So come on, City, sing this song once more. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say?
And good evening. Those of you expecting to hear the dulcet tones of Mr. Spall, I'm afraid you're going to have to be disappointed because it's me, Chris Brown. We've got Chris Pugh and we've got a guest tonight. Gabriel Sutton. Beautiful introduction that was.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we're going to get straight into the game. I wasn't at the game, so what happened? How did it go?
I saw most of it from my vantage point up in the corner by the away fans. But the first half in particular, I thought, I mentioned on last week's show after the MK Dons result and performance how we are set up as such a good away side, and it, we were talking about it just before the show. Even at home, we seem to be able to let Bristol City or any opponent have the ball at the moment. We set up so solidly with that system that we've got that we seem comfortable letting the opposition have the ball, and we let Bristol City have a lot of the ball in the first half. But with no real danger whatsoever. Obviously, the first goal was good play from Gray down the left. It was a good cross, and Cottrell pulls it back for Donaldson to get his first of the season. And then, we were saying again, the second goal was the epitome of how we seem to be set up at the moment. A throw-in inside, right by our own corner flag. And Donaldson and Terrell have linked up really well. A couple of interchanges between them down the right-hand side, and 20 seconds later it's 2-0. And that seems to be the way we're playing at the moment. And
we talked about this off air. Like, so you're saying that Blues are playing like they're playing away.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's suiting us down to the ground at the moment. The results are showing. And
I actually think we've actually found the way forward under Gary Rapp, because I speak to people who say such and such team had a lot of the ball, but I never necessarily think that that's an advantage, because if you're playing sideways passes, you're more likely to keep possession and have 63% possession and have better possession stats. But actually, it's the safer passes that don't actually get you forward and into dangerous possession. So.
We had, I think it was 7 passes from the throw-in by our own corner flag to Donaldson tapping it into the net for the second goal. And that was just between Donaldson and Terrell on the right. And it's that lightning attack that we've got at the moment with good players like Terrell. Terrell is, you could just tell when he's on the. He's such a clever footballer, and when you've got someone like that, you can let the opposition have the ball. You've got the shield of Keefton, Belden, Gleeson in midfield, and you've got what is now a solid back four that have played together for the last month or so. That's a unchanged back four, and it's pretty solid at the moment.
Gary Rhodes done a wonder job, really.
I think he has. You really cannot. I know we say it every week. Where would we be if he wasn't here? But you cannot underestimate the job he's done. I
think for me the key thing with Rowett is that he doesn't grab at players.
No.
He picks carefully the players that he wants, and then he'll tie them down to a long-term contract and say, you're my man. I want you to be part of this team. Whereas with Lee Clark, yes, he had the same finances, but he was actually, you were thinking he was almost improvising as he went along, and he was sort of picking players on 1 month.
I think the good solution I heard tonight was Gary Rhodes found out how to put square pegs into square holes.
That's it, absolutely. But, Gabriel's made a great point there. A lot of people were a bit disappointed that we haven't gone and got anyone in on loan. Anyone dramatic at another striker. Disappointed that maybe we let Wes Thomas go. But, Gabriel's point, Rowett knows that if Donaldson's fit, Donaldson plays.
Yep.
And it's as simple as that. He is his man.
It's not rocket science.
He is his number one striker. And like I say, if he's fit, he starts. And he's Saturday showed he's so important to the system. To the way we want to play, to the way we set up. Donaldson's work rate, his effort and his energy up front is so important that we can afford to let Thomas go and get game time elsewhere, because, as I say, he's not going to play if Donaldson's fit. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And it's not just Donaldson. We could write down the team now. The Blues' strongest 11, and we know it. And it's the one that's played the last few games, and the results are showing.
I think that's a massive point, because I remember going to games in the 13-14 season where we just stayed up, and I was with the people in the car. I was trying to sort of guess what the team would be, and it would be like half an hour to an hour discussing who we could play in each position, and then you'd get about 8 of them wrong. Whereas with now it's actually quite boring, because you just know, unless it's a forced change, you know who's going to play. And I think players actually benefit from a manager giving them that kind of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we say, we'd be in here in the studio, and there'd be people on the shout box. What's happened to Hancock's? He's played the last 2 games, and he hasn't played for the next month. And the same happened with Riley. Riley come in and then out again, and like Gabriel said, it's so unnerving for the players, to be in that situation where you have no idea whether you're going to be in or not.
Yeah.
And for that 11 that start now, they know that they're that team, and whilst it's good to have competition for places, when you're winning, you just want to keep that same team.
I just quickly need to say hello to my nephew and niece, my niece and nephews, Ethan, Oliver, and Libby. It's your Uncle Chris. There you go. Carry on.
But yeah, I mean, without getting too carried away, I mean, the way we...
I think that's important as well, sorry, let's not get too carried away. It's a great start, but...
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, there aren't many unbeaten teams.
No,
Brighton's
Cardiff unbeaten as well, I think.
Yeah,
but there's not many,
there isn't many.
Yeah.
Not in all competitions, anyway.
No.
But I do feel as though, I mean, the way that we're set up, it is a bit similar to Burnley when they went up a couple of years ago, in that they didn't have lots of money, but they picked the players that they wanted quite wisely, and then they had a settled first 11, and they're strong without the ball. And I actually see quite a lot of similarities there.
Thinking very similar things. We've said, I think I've said on it before, that Burnley team that went up, we're no better than we are now than we were last season when we were struggling to stay up, sort of thing. Yeah. Right, but it is that consistency and like you said,
got a few comments to get through on the old shirt box. I'll start down the bottom. What a cracking game of football it was on Saturday. One of the most enjoyable games I've watched. Both teams played dirty and the ref good and bad decisions to both sides. But in the end, we won the game, and in the second half, the Tilton was rocking. I have no voice, and my hands hurt. Just another match day from our friend Capo. Though I did notice on Facebook there seemed to be a lot of talk on the atmosphere rather than the game as well. Did you find that?
I didn't notice anything disparaging about it in particular. No. Bristol City sold out their allocation of around about 2,500, I think. Away fans are always going to sing more than home fans. That's just modern football nowadays. But no, I didn't notice anything in particular. I mean, we were 3-1 up at half time. It's difficult to have a bad atmosphere when you're playing well and scoring goals. Yeah.
Breaking news: Tim Sherwood has just received a life ban from walking his dog by the RSPCA as he cannot hold on to the lead. I love the old jokes.
Yeah, very original that one.
There's some I can't read. It was the best game of football I've seen down at stands for a long time. Clayton was superb. Keep right on. Yeah. We would have been doomed without him, but how long can we keep him? I'm not sure. I won't talk about snorting coke. Don't get me wrong. The result against Bristol City was brilliant, and we are unbeaten so far this season. But we should still not look at the fact we have scored 4 goals but conceded 2. Or am I the only one concerned that against better teams in this division, could we not get punished for sloppy mistakes?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I think if you look at the way the Championship's set up at the moment, it's actually a very even league. There's been loads of draws so far. And Brighton are running away with it a bit at the top, but even they've only won all their games by 1 goal. So I actually think that we're going to see, for all this talk about, the gap between the teams that are investing a lot, I actually think that it's not so much about, what you spend as the way that you're set up as a team. And I think it's going to be...
If we get promoted on all our games being 4-3, wins,
well, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's happened before, where teams have just gone all out attack. I don't think we are that side that can afford to go along that route. And I see what he says, like, Bristol City haven't started the season well. They have struggled for goals, and I think the second goal was a bit scrappy. We could have done a bit more than that with that. But, attacking-wise, we're not going to score 4 every week. But then,
No.
we've gone to MK Dons and we've been pretty solid against a team that scored a lot of goals last season. So I think defensively we are set up quite well. I'm delighted, to be honest.
And as John Kay says, as long as we're getting the goals and beating the teams, then we're doing.
Of course.
It's results, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
results that get you the points.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we're like you said, we're in a similar, not too far off from Brighton, who have been winning 1-0 every week, and
Yeah.
so
I think also need to mention to Cottrell, because from what I'd heard, he had a really good game against Bristol City on Saturday, and I mean I always felt last season that he did come in for a little bit of criticism in the second half. And it's funny because I think if you actually watch him over 90 minutes, I sometimes look at Cottrell and think he's not that great, but he's got that ability to conjure up things, and certainly did a lot on.
Well, especially set pieces. His corner for the fourth goal was excellent, and he is always a danger over set pieces. I think he's a really important cog in that team. With him one side and Gray the other, and Terrell flicking in between, basically wherever he wants to go, wherever he wants to roam with the ball.
I think as well, Gray and Cottrell offer sort of different things. Because Gray's got the ability to run at players, and Cottrell's got the brilliant delivery.
Well, they're both two-footed as well, so whichever flank they're on, they can cut inside or go outside. So they both offer a lot of problems for defences.
The keeper. Any thoughts on the keeper? What was his game like?
I think people are getting a bit concerned because he's one that tends to punch rather than catch. But if you watch most teams nowadays, I think keepers are being trained to punch the ball
always used to be the continental
instead
way,
of catch.
It?
Because at the end of if you punch it. And it's
somewhere.
not great. Even if it's not a great punch, you're probably punching it 10-15 yards, whereas you drop it, you're dropping it right underneath you in the 6-yard box.
And you can counter as well.
Well, of course, if you've got quick players on the break and it happens to fall to them, like Gabriel said, you're quick on the counter. And I think keepers are being trained to actually punch the ball rather than catch it. But I mean, it's difficult for him because any fan that's been the last 10 years... We've had Hart, Foster, Butland,
Taylor.
What an exceptional array of goalkeepers.
They've all got lots of practice in. That's what it is.
Well, that's true. But Hart, Foster,
Butland.
Hart, Foster, Butland will probably be the three England goalkeepers that go to the Euros next year if Foster's fit. And they've all come through Blues at one stage or the other. I mean, what unbelievable form Butland's in at the moment.
He's been brilliant, hasn't he?
But I think you've just got to give him time, give him chance, and with the longer he plays with that defence, the more cohesion they'll get together.
Yeah, I think that's the point, because I remember when Jack Butland in the first half of, I think it was Lee Clark's first season in charge, he was actually really poor for the first half of that season, but then sort of gradually improved in the second half. Same with Bose Mile the year before.
Under Houghton.
So I think that there's a case to say, which I think Wright will do, stick with that goalkeeper even if he makes a few mistakes, because eventually he's going to get more confident with
I think so, definitely, I think he's a better option than Legend, so... more
apparently we're top goal scorers in the Championship with QPR and Ipswich, yet we have conceded only 6.
Is it 6 games or 7 games we've played now?
I think it's 6 because we've not played Brentford yet.
No, that's right. That's the game. So.
Nick says that Bristol fans were bemoaning our support, but to be honest, all the way fans do that. We do it the same when we go away, don't we? It's part of the banter.
It's just modern day football. Away fans are always going to be louder than home fans now.
Yeah, and also I think if you're away fans, you're going to be in a tighter section, whereas home fans are going to be sort of spread out around the pitch, and it's harder to create that kind of atmosphere.
Well, I suppose it must have been like Christmas for the Bristol fans to come to a proper ground. You know what I mean? So there we go. Any team in this division will get punished if they get sloppy. We have to maintain our discipline at all times, especially in an up and coming cup game, which we're going to talk about later.
No idea what that is.
Excuse my spelling. I'm ill.
We're
says
focusing
Nick.
on the league at the moment.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
Back onto Cottrell. I'm not Cottrell's biggest fan. I often think he can do better, but he started the season quite well. More of the same, please.
I think it is that
Cottrell fan?
consistency. He will have games where he looks unplayable at times, and he'll skin defenders alive, and then other games he'll drift in more and decide to lay it off as opposed to. But I think with wingers they are very temperamental like that. You get the impression that in the first 10 minutes they'll suss out whether they can actually beat the fullback or not.
Yeah.
If the fullback looks like he's got their number, then they don't really want to know, sort of thing, or they'll try and switch to the other wing. But wingers are like that, I think. But like I say, with his set piece ability, he's always a danger when he's on the pitch.
We talk about pedigree. We've also had some fantastic wingers.
Of course, exactly, yeah.
I think this is your relative. Should Rowett look to make more signings whilst the loan window is open? James Wilson is available, and a few clubs have been sniffing around him. Should we look at someone along those lines as a backup for Donaldson?
For me, it's a no, because I think that if you got James Wilson in, I think you'd have to play him regularly.
Agreed.
And I don't think Rowett would change his 4-2-3-1 system to get Wilson in the side.
Which means Donaldson's out.
But what about a backup for Donaldson?
I think we've got it now in Brock Madsen, the Danish kid, which is why he let Thomas go to Swindon. Right. I think he's obviously seen something in Brock Madsen that he likes. We haven't seen him yet. For an elongated period. But, the James Wilson thing, first of all, I don't think we'd be able to afford his wages. I mean, a Man United kid. Yeah. And if you've got the choice of Derby or Blues, you probably are going to go to Derby, even with the starts that both teams have had.
But like Gabriel said, like that can inject just that bit of...
Yeah. James Wilson looks a really good player. Yeah. And, if he come into us, there's no reason to say he wouldn't score a lot of goals.
A couple of seasons ago, was it last season from Man United?
Lingard.
Well, we did have
Makeda and Lingard.
We had a few from Man United. Actually.
Well, Man United and Arsenal have both been quite kind to us over the years with loan players and things. Yeah. Well, he's wasting away at Cardiff now.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm never that sure about Makeda because I think that when he comes on as a substitute and we go 4-4-2, I think he's really good. But I never quite trust him to start games. On his own up front. Yeah. I'm just not sure he's got the work rate personally.
Yeah.
Should Rowett look to make more signings?
Done that one.
Oh, we've done that. So sorry, I'm going. The thing's gone wrong. I enjoyed getting the funny joke chance going again on Saturday. Fans are happy when they no longer sing "All We Care About Is BCFC" and things like that. I think the Carson songs.
Yeah.
So they stopped them.
I think I saw somebody put about the banners haven't been down there in a while, and the Hong Kong banners and stuff.
I mean that's a good point because I think last season, or the year before that, I remember being here a lot and we were talking loads about the ownership situation at Blues. Yeah. But it seems as though because since Rowett's come in and results have improved a bit, there seems to be less of a drive to actually change. Yeah, that might just be me, but.
Kevin Nolan is looking for a club on small wages now. How old? He's not that old. Is he?
He's not that old, but I just think his energy. Like we keep going on about our system, but it's not going to change. That's the system we've got now, and I don't think he's got the energy to displace Keefton Beld or Gleeson. And we've got David Davis who's on the bench who. Has been unlucky to lose his place. Really,
well, got to rally in the hole.
Yeah, it was only injury.
I was just going to say, I think he's now squad quite thin, but I'd forgotten about Davis.
Yeah, I mean, he got injured towards the end of last season.
Yeah, he's quality,
which he lost the place, and then Keefton Bell came in. So, and like you say, he's not going to take Terrell's place behind Donaldson. So
I think as well because we try and aim to be, press teams without the ball and get them back into their own half. and I'm not sure that Nolan quite fits into that in terms of has he got the legs. I'm not sure about that one.
We've got a really, really busy shout box tonight. I'm sorry, keep butting in, but you say we can't afford his wages yet. We managed to get an Arsenal kid on loan. This is going back to why can we not get a Man United player?
Who's the Arsenal?
I think Terrell. I think he means.
Well, I think he was at Brent. Was he at Arsenal? I thought.
He's an Arsenal player.
Oh, right.
He was on loan at Brentford last year. I think my
Yeah.
brother's just trying to be controversial.
Probably,
I mean, I get his point. There are big players from big clubs at smaller championship clubs than us. As a club's structure, but I don't know. I think, like Gabriel said earlier, you're just bringing players in for bringing it in sake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes it's probably just to appease.
fans,
I suppose. Yeah.
But I think that scattergun approach is harmful at times, and
I think so.
I'd trust him to bring in players that he thinks he's only going to bring in if it actually strengthens the squad and he has belief that they can fit into the system.
Yeah,
and I mean, I have to admit, I'm not a massive fan of loan signings. I think sometimes one or two of them can make an impact, but I think if you have too many, then your squad becomes reliant on players who don't actually belong to you.
And then next season, if you don't buy them more, you've got to go and get some more loan players. So.
Exactly. So I don't think it's really sustainable relying on loan signings myself.
Yeah.
This one from my old mate Stan. Blues have the exact manager and coaches in this present time. They all know the league that they are in, but uppermost they also know the lower leagues. Most refreshing this season is that Rowett has looked into the European market, but there are some decent players in League 1 and 2 who can do a good job in the Championship.
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, how much did Keystone Bell cost? Do we think $500,000?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Andre Gray cost 9 million, or close to 9 million from a Championship club. So, I know it's a striker and a midfielder, and the comparison might not be that fair. But even League One players, a decent League One midfielder, you're probably pushing £1 million, and for a club like us, £500,000 is quite a lot when you're looking at transfer fees.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Just a message to you, Blue Noses. Wednesday night from 8 p.m. there will be a Birmingham West Brom and Aston Villa local derby. Phone in special on Channel K. In the space of 4 days, Villa will play Booth. So Blues fans, if you want to have your say, get in contact. That's Channel K. Dim Sherbet looks a defeated man in his interview on TV. Yeah, I did see that interview.
Horrendous.
I thought
absolutely. It looked like he'd just witnessed his daughter being burned alive. Rather than his team lose. He just looked utterly horrifying. And the irony was, it was his own fault for the horrendous substitutions he made.
Well, I mean, for me, I think Sherwood just behaves like a kid sometimes.
You're absolutely spot on.
Does anybody feel sorry for him?
No, not one bit.
On a serious note, I mean, he hasn't really got that much of a pedigree in the top league football.
Absolutely nothing.
You think about it.
Nothing. And like Gabriel said, he looks like a fan. He looks like a fan who's taken charge of his club.
Yeah.
The fact he's not a fan of Villa. But as a football manager, professional football manager for a Premier League side, the size and of Aston Villa, he's just behaving utterly ridiculously, and he's making a complete embarrassment of himself, and whether he cares or not, I don't know. Whether he's trying to distract people away from his team's faults, a bit like Mourinho does at times, where he just says outrageous, outlandish things just so people don't focus on the team. I don't know whether he's trying to do that, but it's not working.
He's not clever enough to do that.
No. I don't think it's that he doesn't care. I think, if anything, he cares too much to actually get a sense of perspective and say, yes, we got that one wrong. We're going to learn from it, and we're going to make sure that we're better for the West Brom game. That's what a good manager would have done. But the way he just looked like a kid to me.
He looked like we're going on about him again, but he looked like Lee Clark after Blues lost.
Yes.
Head down, with the old head down, mumbling, where you couldn't really understand the word he was saying.
It's not a way to install confidence in your supporters.
Of course it's not. And if you're one of those players that played against Leicester, would you have looked forward to going into training?
No.
on the Sunday or the Monday, today or tomorrow, whenever they're going to go in.
Yeah.
Beyond me.
Nick says it's the best he's felt about a blue side since the Carling Cup.
I don't think
Fair
we're as
assumption
good
on it?
as the side under Houghton.
No.
The one that went into Europe
Into
with
Europe,
the likes
yeah,
of Wood
yeah,
and
yeah.
Redmond. I don't think we're as good as that, but we're certainly better than anything we had under Clark and better than the side we had at the back end of last season.
It's certainly been a long time since we've
Yeah.
actually felt this optimistic about it.
Is anybody actually thinking, well, we might even sneak it this year?
I am.
I don't see any reason why we can't.
No?
You know, this run sees teams up to November at times. You know, if we are that team that goes to November with 1 or 2 defeats and keeps this, this home record is absolutely astonishing.
And I think you've got to remember. I mean, people sort of talk a lot about we can't do this without the money, but this is a league where Ipswich reached the playoffs last season
with spending about $1.5 million on players.
Loads of free transfers there, and then Wigan got relegated from spending a lot of money. So I really think that it's more important to have the structure of the team right than it is to actually spend the money. That's my view. I mean, you look at how Derby County have started this season.
There's no guarantee for success money.
Not at all.
I do think Derby will come back and come good though, but the point remains it isn't a guarantee for success. And I'll always use that Burnley team that went up 2 years ago as an example, because that they were tipped for relegation that year, and they just kept on going and proved everybody wrong in the end.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And I see a lot of similarities in Dyche that I do in Rowett at the moment. So
I like John Terrell. He plays a big role in the midfield for us. Would be good if we can find money to get him for next year. Yeah, good point.
it would be amazing, but I think Arsenal like him. He went on their pre-season tour to Asia this summer, and he played a couple of games with the first team there. And I think they like him. I think he'll be another one that. But they're just using him. They're getting him game time experience, first team experience.
But I think also, Arsenal have no shortage of attacking midfielders.
No, players like him.
That's sort of Wenger's philosophy of having tiny sort of magicians who play in attacking midfield kind of role. So I mean, he certainly got talent, but I'm not sure where he'd fit in.
Liverpool have reportedly agreed how many times have we heard this now? An £8 million fee for Gray, according to one of their sites. The transfer that just won't go away. Can imagine it's pure BS. So don't know.
I mean, I don't think
that's the sort of figure I'd be looking at if I was Blues.
Yeah.
Berahino, 20 million rejected. I'm not selling Gray for less than 8-10. You're not telling me Berahino's 2.5 times the player Gray is.
I think my view on it is if we got a good enough fee for Gray and some of that money was reinvested, I think I would be content. I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be content to see Gray go, simply because I think it's a very relatively early stage in his development. I think he's got a lot of pace, but I think his end product can improve sometimes. I think he can certainly beat the fullback, but whether he's got a brilliant finish on him or a brilliant cross, I'm not
something
so sure.
I have to agree with. Something I read today in the papers is the way that Gray's conducted himself in all these speculations.
Yeah, very much so.
It's been very grown up, hasn't it?
As soon as the transfer window shut, I compare him to Berahino again. The Berahino tweet saying he'd never play for him again. And then about an hour after the transfer window shut, Gray posted a picture on Twitter just of him shaking Rowett's hand, coming off the bench, coming off against MK Dons.
He's either been very well looked after.
But I think again on Rowett's man management skills, Rowett's probably said to him, "Look, you keep going, and you will play for Liverpool, and you will play for England, but you don't need it yet. You've got a lot of improvement still, which I think he has. The consistency, the main thing again. You know, one good game, 2 decent games, a couple of bad ones. He needs to be 3 or 4 excellent, a couple decent, 3 or 4 excellent again.
And I think as well, what actually appeals to the top clubs more is actually that kind of professionalism.
Yeah.
Because if you have a really childish approach and say, I'm not going to play, or I'm not going to work for the manager, or I'm not going to take responsibility for myself, then eventually your form's going to drop, and the team that you might want to play for doesn't come in for you anyway. So everyone loses then.
Yeah.
So, but if you go into it with, I would like to move, but if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be 100% focused on my team, then you're going to get better results, and eventually, you're going to get chances to move to a bigger team. So you've got to credit Gray for the way that he's handled.
Yeah, I think right. I think we've part answered this next question. As we have made such a good start to the league, do you think we have a large enough squad basis to potentially mount a promotion charge? And if you think no, who do you think we should add to strengthen? We're under the assumption that we could probably nick it, couldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, you would expect at some point that we are going to get an injury or two, but maybe we won't. Maybe we won't get an injury. This Donaldson thing, if he stays fit all season, he plays. So maybe there is no need for another striker, because if he is fit all season, then he will play all season.
Yeah.
You are going to need to freshen it up at some stage of the season. It's a long season with Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday a lot of times in the season.
Definitely.
But as we said, I don't want us to just go out and get anyone in just for the sake of strengthening a squad.
And I actually think, just on the striker issue, I actually think Brock Madsen could do a job.
Yeah.
Well,
Rabbit certainly thinks so.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got faith in him, and I think he's someone that can, press defences. Makes life difficult for the centre backs. Great work rate. Got a lot of strength about him as well, and I think he's the type of player that can actually create chance. Probably. Maybe not an established goal scorer like Donaldson, but he's someone that can replicate his work rate, and that'll help, the team create chances.
You don't want it to change much, do you? The ethos of the team, so
and it's a bit scared actually. Keep it as it is.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't change anything. I don't think Bristol's Freeman would have been an expensive buy last season as a League One player. Players like him are still out there. I
agree with that. I thought Freeman was a very good player, and he played well on Saturday. He had an excellent season last season. Those players are out there. How much would Freeman have cost if we'd have tried to buy him in the summer?
Is this last summer or the summer?
No, the one that's just gone.
This summer, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think there would have
been. As a recently promoted side, I don't think there'd have been any rush to get rid of him.
No, I think it would have been unrealistic to try and get him from Bristol City, because I think before the start of the season we were probably in even position with City.
Yeah.
Nick's talking about your analogy.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Robbie Savage tweeted, how many goals head start will Birmingham City give the Villa before they come back and win in the cup match? Nice one.
Well, I mean, we can get on to that now. I mean, let's
move on to that.
I actually feel...
do we have to?
just before that, okay. 2 big games coming up against Ipswich and Nottingham. Do we think 6 points?
I'll take 4.
Yeah, I'll
all day long. Beat Forest and draw away at Ipswich. I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, I'll stick with 4.
Snap your hands off for 6, obviously, but I'll take 4.
So, how good did Chris Hughton do to get Blues in the playoffs?
Very well. I think he was an excellent manager, and I think he's proven it again at Brighton now. There was a lot of 1-0 wins when he was at us, I think, if I remember rightly, especially at home. I think he's an excellent manager, and I think he did really well. We did have a lot of good players in Redmond and Much and Butland and the like, but we'd just come down. There was a lot of upheaval and turmoil in the boardroom, and we'd lost a lot of players, and we'd lost our manager, and I think he did exceptionally to get us to the playoffs.
I thought, from what I remember, we played some great counter-attacking football that year as well. He got players like Jordan Much and David Murphy, the left back, sort of bombing forward, and they had that bit of confidence about them, didn't they? So I think Houghton did a great job, and I'm quite happy to see him do well at Brighton.
Stan said we've lost Much, Redmond, Butland, and we will lose Gray within 18 months. He's saying that the posts are about 5 minutes behind the broadcast. It's not that. It's just that there are that many posts. I'm doing it one by one, so eventually I will get to your posts. So don't panic. So do you reckon we'll lose? Well, I think we'll lose him.
I think it's inevitable. If he keeps improving, it's inevitable we'll lose him at some point, because he's a young, bright, attacking English player, and those people don't stay at your Birmingham Cities for long. Yeah. He will eventually. Berahino will eventually go to Spurs or to somewhere even bigger, and the same will happen with Gray eventually.
But what excites me about Gray is that if he's worth 8 or so million allegedly at the moment, when he's not quite shown consistently that sort of end product that you'd sometimes like to see, how much is he going to be worth when he starts showing that real quality
absolutely
in front of goal?
Well, ideally, the ideal situation is we go up this year and he stays with us and he has an excellent season in the Premier League and we stay up, and he could be worth 15-20 million then.
Yeah,
that's right. You said earlier that the current squad under Rat is very similar to the team under Houghton. If you could, what players would you take from that team? What a good question this is. To add to the current crop, or do you think any of them would make the team?
Butland.
I'd have Curtis Davis probably over Jonathan Spector.
Redmond for
winning form,
maybe Cottrell. Redmond for Cottrell, maybe. But then Cottrell's set pieces were better than Redmond's, I think. But I like Redmond now. I think Redmond has improved a lot. Yeah.
Not when he first went. I think it was a bit limp. When he
definitely. I think last season he grew up a lot in the Championship, and he started this season quite well. Murphy or Grounds. A fit Murphy, I thought, was probably the best left back in the Championship at the time.
I think I'd have Murphy over Grounds.
I'd probably choose Murphy. Davis alongside Morrison, probably.
Yeah.
Those front players. I think those front players we've got now, in the system we've got,
on par.
I'm struggling to displace any of them. I think.
Yeah.
Butland would be the one for me, definitely. I think he's.
He'll
be challenging Joe.
No, actually, I think
he'll be challenging
Hart. It was my hill the Houghton season. I think we had Butland. He was on loan at Cheltenham Town, and
then he come the season after
for Clark. Yeah.
Right.
So it had my hill or Kushak.
That's a tougher one.
Even.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to have about a 5-minute break. It's just time for a wee, and then we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Sorry that I've got to go, 'cause I'm late for work already, don't you know? 10 years ago today, we went our separate ways, and I never thought I'd see you again. What have we become? We were the best of friends. Now there's nothing that I want to say to you. Are you coming out to play? I really wish that I could stay. Fighting in the yard, and you were so hard. Fighting everyone who looks your way. Detention of the
my school for breaking all the rules. But it was never us, and the teachers were fools. What have we become? We were the best of friends. Now there's nothing that I want to say to you. Are you coming out to play? I really wish that I could stay. You know I really wish that I could stay. It's time to say goodbye. I've really got to fly. We were the best of friends. Now there's nothing that I want to say to you. Are you coming out to play? I really wish that I could stay. You know I really wish that I could stay.
Tilton Talk show. Busy first half.
Very busy.
Very busy.
Very busy.
Very busy first half. And we've got a lot of subjects to get through. But one of the talking points a few days ago was the fact that Radio WM were giving away cup tickets purely for Villa fans. Now, I can understand Yeah, okay. Home teams, they give away tickets to Villa, they give away tickets to Blues, Albion, so forth and so forth. But giving away home tickets just to Villa fans in one of the biggest local derbies for a long time.
When ticket allocation is an issue,
exactly.
And people are going to be scrambling from.
There was a bit of let's rub their nose a bit to me, but anyway, our man Doco took up the challenge, and what do we know, Doco?
Hiya, Chris. Hi, Gabriel.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Doc.
Sorry, I've had to Skype in tonight because I was going to give you a rest from my voice for a couple of weeks. But this is an important issue that I mentioned tonight. Chris and Nick brought it up last week about giving away tickets. I'm hoping Nick can post the emails from today, because it started to get a bit weird with Paul Franks. He seemed to be getting wound up more and more every time I answered a question. So basically, what I have done is I sent in an email to WM, and I didn't get a reply. I found Paul Franks' email address last Thursday, and within 20 minutes of him receiving the email, I got a phone call off him.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I had asked that if I would be available that night to speak to him live on air.
Right.
To put my point of view across, but he decided that it was too much of a risk, as I might get fellow Blue Noses phoning in and saying they're agreeing with me. It seems like that Paul Franks and WM do not like people to make constructive criticism, and what I said was that Blues fans were very, very unhappy with the decision for an important cup match to armchair supporters of Aston Villa that do not turn up at the match regular, that the tickets, and this was in all fairness, should have gone to Aston Villa, registered Aston Villa fans. I know that he couldn't give tickets away to Blues fans, but they should have made some alternative arrangement to have a competition for them. He got very defensive and he said, I'm sticking to my position, it's your view. And I said, well, we find it very unfair. You should never have accept. He said, it was up to Aston Villa, right? Radio WM accepted the tickets, and that's what they were going to do. So I said, you'll give the tickets away. And later that night, a Walsall fan the next night phoned up, and he also said I was welcome to phone up the show, where I replied I would not go on he would not let me on the show that night. So I called his bluff and phoned up at 6 o'clock, and the very nice receptionist said, we'll put you on a list. Guess what? Yeah. I didn't go on the show.
Can I just start?
Gabriel just wants to interject.
Is there not an issue here about the availability of away tickets for that match? Because I'd imagine that there's loads of tickets for the Aston Villa end, because it's there's only a 2,800 allocation, which for me I think it should be a bigger allocation. Cool. But there's much more seats available for Villa. So is it not an availability issue as well, Doco?
Well, this is what I try to be fair on both sides of the issue. I know Hubbard tried to contact them.
Yeah, he's just said he emailed Radio WM regarding the ticket allocation and the competition they were having for the Villa fans, but got no reply, and he still hasn't had one.
No, I know, and I've given him Frank's this Paul Frank. I won't call him Franksy. I'll call him Mr. Franks. I gave him Mr. Frank's email address, but I was at the match on Saturday, and all the Blues fans that came up to me backed me 100%, and they said they were going to boycott his show.
Right, okay. Crikey.
So today, I haven't mentioned sports radio deliberately because he will think that I was set up by you to phone in and that another radio station was getting in on the act.
Yeah.
But I have passed all my emails. Today, I put the points exactly, and he said that Radio WM are a democracy, and I have replied to that by saying, yes, it is a democracy, as long as you're a Villa, Albion, Wolves or Walsall supporter, but if you're a Birmingham City supporter, you're a second-class citizen in your own city. Now, if people don't want to boycott WM, I'm not forcing them, but I have said that I am boycotting his show, he said, why did I listen on Friday night? I said, because you were giving away tickets to Blues fans. Now, two Birmingham City fans phoned up on Friday. One was a lady who said she wanted tickets. The other one was another lad. And when he was offered the tickets, he said, no, I've already got mine. Now, I am here. I know that Sports Radio have given me tickets. I've won tickets in the past from Sports Radio at the Tilton Talk. But you're a dedicated station to the Blues, the Brummies, Capo with his radio. It's a dedicated sports radio station, but you speak on specific issues. You're not like WM trying to get more listeners. You are a community radio station. That's why I listen to you. That's why I take part in the conversations. Also,
Doco, you got something vibrating in the background?
I'm sorry, somebody keeps messaging and that's
Probably Paul Franks.
Sorry about that, Chris. But
Take the batteries out of it. Send the bishop to the bar, mate.
I'm okay apart from that, but where was I? You know, you're a dedicated radio station, but you're not doing it anymore. And I also mentioned that Free Radio and Tom Ross have lost listeners because the Blues and the Villa have withdrawn their contract to do commentaries on live games with them, and also you can hardly find his station anyhow anymore, Free Radio. So he doesn't have an audience, a big audience to speak to anymore, and he seems to be ignored. And I've told Paul Franks, if this is the way they want to go, right, like I said, he had two Blues fans phoning tonight, and I said to him, he knew my number today, if he wanted to phone me, contact me, and we'll discuss the matter. But he's bottled out again, because he knows that he cannot answer. Yeah, it's all right, Chris, I can see you winding me up to wind up now. But that's basically what's happened. And his last comment was, you're the only one that's phoned the only one that's emailed me. You're in a minority. And I said, no, I'm not. And I did mention to him that he was getting very silly and defensive. And he never emailed me after that. So I think I've proved my point today.
Yeah.
Thanks, lads. Take care.
Cheers for that. Anyway, you seem to have got lots of support on the shout box. So if you go back on the shout box, there's quite a lot of people in support.
Now, yeah.
Nice
So
one, Doc.
I urge, just before I go, I urge everybody, I know I said I wouldn't, but boycott Paul Frank's phone-in sports show. I can see the same classes. And also, if you get a chance, try and email him at franksy@bbc.co.uk. Thanks, lads. Bye.
Nice one. Cheers, Doco. Thank you very much. There you go.
I think what my only issue with it is the fact that they're giving it away to any Villa fan. You know, any Villa fan can phone in and win that ticket where, you know, it is a match where, you know, even Villa fans, the Villa fans who go regularly should be the ones who go to that game, not just somebody who phones in. And
I mean, I've got no problem with giving away tickets.
Neither do I.
For local Midlands
neither do I.
clubs. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
seems a bit strange, this one.
A game that's that's going to sell out. There's going to be no tickets left for that game.
No.
You don't need Villa don't need to give tickets away for that game.
On the same subject, what do you think the Blues and Villa squads will be? Will we rest players for league games, or will we go all out against each other?
I don't think anybody's going to be rested for that one.
I don't think so.
You know what? Actually, I don't know what. I mean, Tim Sherwood is such a, he's making strange decisions week by week. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he rested players for that.
Yeah.
If he pretended it wasn't a big deal or anything. I think it all depends on how they go against Albion. If they lose against Albion, his job could be on the line. Realistically, if they lose to Albion and us,
I think if I were, God forbid, if I were a supporter of Aston Villa, I don't like to think of that. But I think I would be really annoyed if Sherwood didn't play the strongest side.
Definitely.
Same with Rowett. I think if Rowett.
If we put out a weak side and lost, you'd be disappointed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
But he is known for making some strange decisions.
Absolutely, he is. Yeah, we live in hope.
We can all hope. Yeah. Conspiracy theory number 1: Villa have only allocated us a small amount of tickets because they know we are the loudest, we are the proudest, and we will outsing them and outvoice them with 3,000 fans or 30,000. That is why they're trying. That is what they're trying to do. They're trying to quieten us, and it won't work. I tell you.
That's quite rousing. Rousing speech.
And back on the Doco Gate.
Yeah.
WM loves sending reporters to cricket matches that are washed out. Licence fee down the drain.
Fair point.
And on the same subject, tweet the BBC, WM tweet Paul Franks, but tweet to all at the same time.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the ladies with that fantastic win?
Outstanding.
Outstanding.
The Blue Goddesses of Solihull. Quarter final on Sunday against Chelsea, the league leaders at the moment. And we come away with a 1-0 win thanks to a superb free kick from Joe Potter, the England midfielder. Through to the semi-finals of the Continental Cup now. In a strange competition in a way because the 3 semi-finalists so far are Blues, Liverpool and Notts County, who are all in the bottom half of the WSL. So Chelsea have been knocked out. Sunderland were already out from further on, earlier on in the competition, and Manchester City were due to play Arsenal in the other quarter final, but City have been called up for fielding an illegible player earlier in the competition.
Oh, right.
Now there's a precedent there because Reading did that last season and got kicked out of the competition. So whether they've got the guts to do that to a big club like Man City, to do it, because it's exactly the same situation as far as I can see. So whether they've got the guts to do that and kick City out, it'll mean that the semi-finalists will be Blues, Liverpool, Notts County and Arsenal. So
out of interest, I mean, how do you find that the ladies clubs like who that had a lot of money invested, like I think Chelsea and Man City?
Yeah.
How do you find how do you feel they've improved since they've had a lot of investment?
100%. Yeah, the league has changed so much over the last 2 years because of the money. Man City were really a nothing side, and then the WSL 2 came in, so everybody had to apply for their WSL registration again.
Right.
And Man City because they said they were going to throw money at it, they got WSL 1 status, and since then, they have brought in a lot of players, but even the players that were already there that weren't great, that weren't even WSL 2 standard, are now improving. Because they're training every day, they're playing with better players. They're getting the facility. I think Chelsea has started training at, is it Cobham, Chelsea's training ground? The men. They've started training at the men's training ground and everything. And, the facilities are there for the.
So they're taking it seriously.
Oh yeah, absolutely, massively, yeah. Which is good for women's football, but it's definitely had an impact on Blues, because we haven't got the money to move on like that. So even though we have got good players, we've got excellent young players. The other teams are improving so much because of that everyday training in perfect conditions, and the setup is there for them to develop rapidly.
So there's a slight comparison with Blues money wise,
Oh, absolutely,
they can't spend.
Yeah, we can't match. All but the bottom two are in the league this season are the two without the money.
Your chance, your chance to convert somebody into ladies football now, because Stan's a big follower of Blues and Speedway, and he says, "Can someone please explain the ladies team? Are they affiliated to BCFC or somewhere else?"
Yeah, they hold the Blues name, so it's a one club philosophy. They're not backed, because of the financial situation at Blues, that that it's impossible to back them in the way that Man City have backed Man City women and Chelsea have backed Chelsea ladies, but they are.
Who the backers are?
No. To be honest,
but there is somebody putting money into.
Yeah. And there's sponsorship with like Hollywood. We've had Tim in here, Hollywood Monster sponsor. And they back them financially well,
But I mean, how do you sense that the people from inside BCFC, aside from investment, how do you think that they've responded to the women's team? Because I mean, it's Panos Pavlakis that runs the financial side of things at Blues.
I mean, he's been down to the game. Right. He's been down to Solihull Moors to see them. I think he has shown an interest. He is good mates with Tim, isn't he? So, he has shown an interest, and I think Tim is trying to, has tried to get him involved and show a side like that. But he's so, it's just financial. It's as simple as that, and it's hard for me as a Blues ladies fan, because we have quality players there.
Yeah,
but they can't go up that level at the moment because of the money, and eventually they will move on, because which is right. I wouldn't want them as a player to develop their game. There's a young defender there, Aoife Mannion, who's been absolutely sensational this season and my player of the season. She can't stay at Blues all her career. If she wants to go on and play for England, which I think she could do, I think she'll be a future England defender for a long while.
Good question here. So the ladies' team, could they play under any name?
Well, they could rebrand.
Yeah.
I don't. There's no reason why they couldn't. It wouldn't be quite the same, but they could. I mean, Lincoln City started as the WSL team when the WSL first started, but then they disbanded and became Notts County ladies because Notts County were willing to put the money in. So the fans had to move down from Lincoln to Notts County. Half of them did, half of them didn't, half of them didn't. Just wouldn't take it at all. They were Lincoln fans and they were Lincoln ladies fans, and they weren't prepared to be Notts County ladies fans, But Notts County have rebranded and they've become successful. They got to the FA Cup final this year. They're in the semi-final of the Continental Cup, and they've become a success themselves. But again, with the introduction of money, they bought a lot of they brought in Laura Bassett and Rachel Williams, and they brought a lot of experienced international players as well. They brought a lot of them players.
So apart from the name used, the ladies team have nothing to do with BCFC, and then it's me to you. Replies that Peter Pano holds the licence.
Yeah, I
think he did.
I knew he had. He did put a lot of money, his own money into it.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, at some point. But whether that's still the case with him no longer in the picture, I'm not sure. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I'd like to think not. But
so Stan wants to buy the ladies ECFC name.
He's more than welcome to, if he's got a spare £1 million going about and pumping, then please do, Stan.
Right, back to the we'll just put this. The ladies are licensed to Pipanu, but none of the monies or sponsorship go anywhere near him. But he won't sell at the minute. The only way to get rid is to go into admin, which the club doesn't want to. So
I don't know.
Exploring other ways.
Yeah, they don't want to do that because I don't think they'll probably lose their WSL 1 license then, and then you definitely won't keep any of the players, and it's a long hard road. Everton went down last season and lost a lot of their players, and they've struggled this season in WSL 2. You know, they haven't had it all their own way at all, so you really don't want to drop down a level and lose all your players, because you know WSL 2 is a division that is improving quicker than WSL 1. The teams there have you've gone from playing FA Cup games 3 years ago and losing 12-15-0 to Arsenal, and now they are getting a lot closer.
Yeah,
you know, they still wouldn't beat them on the day, I don't think, but we a lucky goal, and you never know, and that would never have happened 3 years ago. So yeah, you definitely don't want to do that.
Back to the men. The new kit has arrived. Have you got yours?
No.
Have you ordered one?
No.
No, I haven't ordered one either.
No.
I know there's been so many issues and complaints about the delay in it, though. I saw somebody put a tweet on there earlier. I think they checked today the online shop, and all they could buy was socks, away kit socks.
You're going to look really funny putting one of those.
That was all that was available. So,
and you wouldn't even be able to see your socks if you got dry.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
you're going to look like pillowcase.
Yeah.
So you won't be buying one?
No, I won't be. No, I think
No?
no, I don't think so.
Okay. What about the ticket updates? Going back to the Villa game as well. There don't seem to be any updates on what's going on with the tickets. Surely these tickets have sold by now, but people keep asking me. Have they sold?
Yeah.
Phone the club.
Yeah.
And I've sent God knows how many tweets.
I know there was a long queue.
Nothing has happened.
There was a long queue on Saturday.
Yeah.
At the ticket office. I'm assuming that was for Villa tickets. But yeah, the club haven't said anything, and
Nothing at all.
I mean their original statement regarding the selling of the tickets said that it was up to tomorrow, and then if it went that far, they'd give a statement at a later date regarding when season ticket holders could get one. But I think it's tomorrow, the last day, before they have to give another statement.
Right.
And they haven't said that they've sold out. They haven't said anything, so...
I do
so
think,
it is a strange one.
I do think, though, that the allocation of 2,800 isn't enough for the number of people that would want to actually go to that game as Blues fans. I think there should have been more. Really.
Yeah, well, I think the League Cup website, the now Capital One Cup website, the actual regulation is that away fans are
10%.
allowed 10%, which would be 42.5. Which would be 4,250.
But there again, it's counteracted by
with the police. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody else. You know, so many people get involved. Then it is a difficult one.
Blue Arbor talking on Super 6.
Let's not go there.
7 points, mate.
We're
first go.
That's impressive. I think we're the bottom three, you and Nick.
That's not.
We really shouldn't be in here talking about football, I don't think. Someone else should come in.
I'm glad you brought that, because I wasn't going to say it. We were occupying the bottom.
Yeah, holding everyone up.
And competition, the Tilton Talk competition wasn't won this week either. So I shall put up a thread in the Tilton Talk Facebook page later on, so you can have another go and win that fantastic prize. But just out of us three, what do you reckon tomorrow?
They had a good win on Saturday, didn't they?
They
were helped.
Yeah.
They were helped by Robert Green being sent off. Yeah, they're a funny one under Dougie Freeman. When he gets on a run, he seems to win 7 or 8 on the trot, but then doesn't win for ages, which is a bit annoying that they got that win on Saturday. Our home form, I'll back us. I'll keep backing. I'll go 2-1 Blues.
2-1 Blues.
Do I give you a
Go on then.
sentence?
You'd have to remember this. Let's put it on the.
Okay.
You might have to back. You might have to.
Night game. 17-100.
Well, I'm going to go for a draw on the basis that I've got a strange feeling that Forest are going to improve now they've sold Nicolo Antonio. I mean, I know he was a great player for them, but I've just got a feeling that you sometimes see it with some teams that once they sell a key player, other players in their place seem to improve because they're not sort of looking for that player as much. And I think some of the players they signed had good games against QPR from what I saw of the highlights.
Yeah.
So Chris
Mendes, I think.
Yeah, Chris O'Grady as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with a draw and be a little bit pessimistic there.
Goals in it? Goals?
1-1.
1-1.
And for the attendance, I'll go 18,000.
Right, I'm going to go for a win. I'm going to go for a 2. Or mind you, bit of a joke. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win, and I'm going to go for 17,800. There you go. Stan's gone for 15,000 and a bit. He hasn't given me the score, or I've missed it.
1-1 Stan's gone for.
SKC's gone 2-1 Blues. Pewey 6, your brother. Is he little brother or big
Little brother?
Very little.
No, 23. Engaged.
Engaged. All right.
Child on the way.
Oh, dear.
Congratulations.
Well, congratulations, I mean, yeah. He's gone for 3-1. Channel K has gone for 2-2 and 17,670. Nick has gone for 2-0. Blues 18,300. Well,
it's unlike Nick to be optimistic.
Yeah. 17,440. Brothers gone for SKC 18,603.
That's a lot for a night game. If we get that on a night game, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
Ducko's gone for 2-1 against Forest, and Blue Hobber's gone for 0-0. 17,245. Right, okay then. Brilliant. Oh yes. Didn't Leicester do well? Didn't he do
For 20 minutes they did superbly well, yeah. Weren't too overwhelmed with the first 70 minutes. But, I mean, that was my gripe about Sherwood's interview afterwards. You know, he'd seen his team play. I don't like saying it, but they did play well for 70. It was a good away team performance for 60 odd minutes. Yeah. And then it was his changes that completely threw everything out of kilter for him.
Did he bring two strikers on?
He brought a striker on for Hill, who was the only one, was the main one who was keeping them the ball. Someone who can keep the ball for you when you're 2-0 up away.
But for Egbonlo, I mean, I never think that if you're trying to counter-attack, you don't
want
need a lanky target man as the lane strike.
I didn't understand them at all, and like I say, it threw everything out for him. And as soon as Leicester scored that first goal, you could see the panic set in.
I think you've got to give some credit to Leicester for the substitutions as well, because they did make
Dio, at half time he could see that was going to be. That was going to be key for them.
And a good season, actually.
I think they're a very good side. They're a good solid outfit. Again, pace out wide, pace and trickery.
Mahrez in the middle.
Yeah, Vardy will run his socks off and score goals.
I've been impressed with Okazaki as well.
Yeah. He's a skillful player. They lost Cambiasso and they've brought in Inler, who's a very similar player. Who could do a similar job.
I think getting Huth on a permanent deal as well was a good move for them. So.
They've got a lot of leaders in the team as well. They're strong
and
side.
then there was that wonderful nose rubbing from Benteke.
Yeah.
That was a cracking
exceptional goal, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know how that hasn't got more plaudits.
I think it's because they lost.
Well, they lost.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was followed by a goal by a debutant. But that goal was nowhere near as good as Benteke's,
No.
in my opinion.
Another team that's having a bad season, isn't it?
Yeah. Struggling.
First half, Leicester were poor. Villa won the game at 2-0. Then the manager lost it, as we were just
Completely lost it. You know, I don't know whether he was what was going through his mind. Like I said, it's like, you know, if you're 2-0 up away from home, it's like he's got carried away and he's just threw a couple more strikers on.
Yeah.
You know, I think what do you
This is
think?
turning into
3-4-0?
Tilton Talk, isn't
Right,
it?
that's true. Yeah. So, yeah.
I know, yeah. There are some questions that we haven't got. I think a question of fair while back ago was regarding Lowry as well.
Oh, Shane Lowry, yeah, I did see that. I think about him just coming into the squad, and I think that the point was raised about the centre halves. You know, if one of them's going to be Spectre and Morrison,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
that is, you know, but Spectre's played his part this season. And you know, Robinson's going to give his all. You know, whether the quality's there or not, he's going to give his all. But you know, Lowry's, he's an addition that Rowett thinks will fit in well. Again, the ethos of the team.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to come in straight away and not change any.
I think he's quite versatile as well.
Not dramatically change the way we play. And we've had ex-Villa before, so who've done relatively well for us. So
We have, yeah. We've had quite a few, haven't we?
read that comment from Pury6 out. That's a nice comment.
Right. Even you could have scored that Marshall scored.
No, I think that's harsh. I think it was a good finish. I mean, the way he sort of dribbled past players.
It was only Skirtle though, wasn't it? It was only Skirtle. I mean, you back yourself to get past Skirtle the way he's playing at the moment. He looks, that Lovren and Skirtle partnership looks a really weak. You look at the centre half partnerships in the top half of the Premier League. I think that looks the weakest to me. In my opinion, that's a, you know, you'd back yourself to get past them, I think.
Sorry about us frittering from question to question and different subjects, but we've basically thrown it open to yourselves. As
Exactly.
And you're running the show, so it's
Couldn't do it without you.
no. Lowry chosen before Baker, said Stan.
Yeah, I don't know whether Baker was an option or whether, you know, would Baker have come to us still being a Villa player. I mean, it's different. Having played for Villa and then coming, but being a Villa player and coming to us.
Yeah.
So he, you know, playing for us and he's still actually technically a Villa player. That's a bit different. I don't know whether Baker himself would have been up for that.
Yeah.
Whether Villa would have allowed it as well. It's a tricky one, but yeah, I like Baker. As a defender, I think he'll do well for Burnley in this division. Yeah, I don't know whether that was.
But Burnley've got some decent young defenders.
I think they're going to be. I fancy them for top 2 this year, Burnley.
They've had a parachute payment, haven't they?
Yeah, well,
To
exactly,
pay for
and
a
they've
lot.
used it as well. They didn't spend money last year whilst in the Premier League,
No, which is
but
good.
having the money coming down, they've gone out and spent it now in an attempt to get back up there.
I think Andre Gray is going to be a key signing for them. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but he's proved now that in this division that he can be a handful. So.
I also think that, you know, it's worth going out to spend that kind of money on a you know, a top striker at this level.
Yeah. Well, Borough have done it with Nugent as well, haven't they? Spent 5-6 million to bring Nugent in, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, the teams are going.
Well, you need to tell us what it is you're doing as well at the moment, because you're doing a bit of work for Pipeline. Is it Paper Online?
Well, I'm working. I've taken up work as part of the media team at Accrington Stanley, the club up in League 2 up in Lancashire. So I'm going there sort of roughly once a month, that kind of thing. Sort of help out on match days. Plus, I'm sort of contributing to their programme and that side of thing. But yeah, I'm generally going to more games as a neutral this season and that type of thing.
Interesting. I bet that's interesting.
Yeah, I do. I have enjoyed it. Yeah, it's
Building your portfolio. Of
Yeah.
the team has seen. Yeah.
yeah.
What's it like up at Accrington?
Yeah, it's quite a nice atmosphere. I think there's quite a sort of a low key approach to it. So if you went to a Manchester United or a Chelsea, everything would be very sort of corporate, and there'd be sort of stewards and that kind of thing. Whereas if you go to Accrington, you can accidentally walk into the changing rooms. It's that sort of type of thing. And the people there are really friendly. So I've enjoyed my time there so far. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Good stuff. Good luck in that.
Thank you, yeah.
Thanks for coming tonight as well.
Not at all, no.
Accrington Stanley, who are they?
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
I hate his advert, yeah.
No.
Pew says, going back to Baker, why on earth would you want Baker? Just get one of the current players to take out on the pitch, and it'd be like he's there without spending money.
That's controversial, isn't it?
Fill in the blanks.
Dear me.
Terrible.
That's awful,
He's really
that
brought
is.
the show down.
Yeah. What a way to end it.
You need to have
And being nasty to our neighbours across the road. That's not the way to end it.
Top show tonight. Sorry couldn't be there. Nice to have Gabriel back. I'm off to bed with me Horlicks. Keep right on, guys.
See you next week.
Is
it a national progression form SRB radio to Accrington Stanley?
Could be.
Well, thanks for listening tonight. Don't forget to tune in next week. Thank you to Mr. Chris Pugh.
Pleasure.
And to Gabriel Sutton. And we'll
Cheers,
see you
Chris.
all again.
We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Birmingham's a team down at St Andrews. We are all supporters of our team. The chant of Super Blues ringing all around. Now all you blue boys know what we mean. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Let's hear you in the cup, singing our song, helping and sharing the load. It's worth the pointed roll when we sing together. We're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? We have a team that's tops here at St Andrews. They gotta give us what we're longing for. It's Birmingham forever. Let's hear it from the stand. So come on, city, sing this song once more. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you